And my dear friends, in the last 45 minutes you heard how much of efforts has been put by the government bodies and policy making agencies in giving you the right kind of an infrastructure so that we can move the digital health forwards. I come from a slightly different perspective, sir. I come from the domain where, having put all this infrastructure in place, we need content. I believe content is the key. The way digital content is created is entirely different from the way content is written for any other medium. It's not like writing a textbook. It's not writing a fact sheet or, for that matter, a leaflet. There are a lot of subtle differences, a lot of work to be done to deliver content in a digital mode. Today, I stand before you to share my experience in this field. But let me briefly tell you what I am and what is my domain. By profession, I am a professor in the Department of Anatomy, St. John's Medical College, Bangalore. I have been in that institution for the last 28 years. As soon as I joined that institution in 1986, I had a computer and I didn't know how to use it. It was just lying there. Nobody knew how to use it. As a sheer hobby, I started playing with it. Maybe in the first few days, it must have been video games. Then slowly maturity set in. How long can you play games? Then I translated and then slowly moved on and said, why don't I do some mature material stuff into that? Then I found students knew some kind of a programming and I didn't know that. Instead I said, no, if I know something and they know something, instead of saying I don't know, we could team up. You see, the first evidence of collaborative step. I made the students program what I wanted, then I retained it for the future batches. This kind of a work picked up momentum year after year, and then slowly, subsequently, I'll tell you what all happened. Subsequently, I picked up, not by certification, but by sheer experience, what it makes to make a meaningful digital presentation, digital content development. Therefore, I am an instructional designer by experience. I have also over the years become a certified consumer health writer because I realized it is not medical that is important, it is health care delivery, the information that is more important. Therefore, I thought I should branch out from just holding on to medicine into health care delivery as a whole because it's a broader field. We also have a Bangalore chapter of the Indian Association for Medical Informatics. This is a local body of the parent organization. We try to bring about as much as possible academic industry interaction. As I said earlier, such a huge work, you heard my previous speakers, cannot be done by one individual. You need teamwork, you need groups to do it. This was sometime in 2000 when I realized that there are other like-minded teachers, industry people who would like to take this in a similar line as my thought. I collaborated with the industry and we brought out a project by this name. This project was so close to my heart that when it really took shape, I'll briefly tell you what it's all about. Some of my remarks are primarily based on the fact that I am a teacher, so these are critical remarks. I believe you don't need didactic lectures anymore to convey knowledge. We have had enough of it. We need enriched content delivery. Technology can do the job for you. We are wasting time in medical colleges giving didactic lectures when same lectures in highly enriched format, I showed you in earlier screen, that MED-RC project, can be made available to them much in advance. They are supposed to go through that in advance, and when they come to the institution, use that precious time to make them apply that knowledge in clinical based scenarios. I think this is the biggest deficiency in medical education. These screenshots that you are seeing are examples of how we create case scenarios. We make them take decisions. You see, confidence levels of the students is low. I have attempted a Khan Academy model. I'm sure you have heard about it. It was a revolution in the US. I have tried it out in a medical college atmosphere in my institution using this program. My students are very, very fanatical about it, and there is a great demand for this model. It has been done on a very experimental level, but I'm sure the future of this kind of LMS is going to be based on Khan Academy. In a nutshell, if I can tell you what this Khan Academy model is all about, 48 hours before my lecture, my full PowerPoint lecture audio with audio is available to my students 48 hours ahead through this software. Then what do I do during my actual lecture? I very PowerPoint and what should be there in my lecture. In my actual physical lecture when I take, I discuss only the clinical areas of that particular topic. Therefore, I am able to bring home the clinical relevance of whatever they are learning then and there. As a result, my students find it extremely, extremely interesting. Incidentally, this software, only 2 institutions have piloted it as of now in India. One is my institution, the other one is Christian Medical College, Vellore. In fact, we have taken the example of Christian Medical College because they are already 6 years ahead of us and we are about 1.5 years in this field. And our initial results are very, very promising. Although when we had to buy this software, we were a little skeptical because should we invest so much, we were not sure of the results. So we went for a reasonably good already running software from the West, running in a medical college. You see, otherwise customizing it and all is time consuming. So we went for a model. But today, somebody in the audience would like to buy it. This software is available absolutely free for download. They have this medical college, this university has made it open source. And somebody wants to start, it's just there for you at the click of a mouse. Now, this is what I want to say, why we should move along, how redundant is the way we teach. If you want to know how we practiced medicine 5 years ago, please read a textbook. If you want to know how we practice medicine maybe 2 years ago, please read a journal. Even journals are redundant. If you want to practice medicine this month, go to a good conference. But if you want to know how to practice medicine now, here and now, please switch to e-learning. My observation is, it's not how to teach, it is how to make them learn. I think there is a huge difference between the two. See, every time I come from a private institution, every time the failure rate is high, the management calls us and says, why, what's going wrong? Instead of having 10 lectures, we make it 20 lectures and we go on slogging more and more, but the student is not learning more and more. So the effort should change from, more effective teaching to more effective learning strategies. You must make them learn. It is my personal view, based on so many years of experience, that technology can be a solution to this problem. In other words, if you want to teach me, you first have to reach me. This is what students say. First, we need to improve digital and e-social literacy among faculty. Please underline the word faculty. In my experience, I have absolutely no problem in reaching out to my students. My biggest hurdle is my teachers, colleague teachers. A lot of problems are there because they just cannot sync with this kind of a technology. I also believe that students can learn best when they act as independent, critical explorers of knowledge. Discovery learning is what I propose. When you look at medical learning as a scenario, it is not just MBBS. You see, I think we are very, very focused on MBBS. I look at it slightly differently. It is learning for doctors, nurses, laboratory technicians, administrators. Why? I have even worked with patients. There is a different way of communicating to patients. We have done a work in genetics. We have found how technology can be used to help relatives of patients in various genetic diseases cope up with the stress. It could even be for public, that's what I said, relatives of patients. It can be for medical and allied subjects. It can be for research purposes. It can even be for companies to communicate effectively to their clients. Clients may be anybody, doctors, their sales representatives, the whole battery of users. It can be in terms of slides, it can be in terms of voiceover, video presentations, high quality graphics, pictures, case studies, exercises, etc. Of which I feel the maximum demand is doctor to patient, because it's the most popular domain in medical e-learning. Abundant content is available in web-based, CD-based, DVD-based and other media, of course TV also. And for those of you who are investors here, revenue models are beginning to warm up with reasonable levels of profitability in this area. However, non-profit models, universities and government bodies are doing a great job, not only across the world, but as you heard, in India also. Medical Council of India has introduced credit points for doctors for updating their knowledge. This has come as a good stimulus, but unfortunately at the grassroots level it hasn't really percolated, except maybe states like Maharashtra here and there. But this is something that needs to be pushed a little strongly. These are some of the popular topics where you will see tremendous work related to e-learning that's going on across the world. But that doesn't mean, e-learning is only for healthcare topics. There are plenty of focused topics, as Sir a little while mentioned. MOOCs is one such example where very specific topics are available, where online education systems are available. Therefore, I have given a classification here on two different areas, general topics and focused topics. You will realize the human body is the most curious information box for the public, and therefore no matter what, even for the silliest of the disease, they would like to look up the net to find out information. As responsible doctors and citizens, it is our duty to give them just not content but also meaningful, authentic, in other words, correct content to the patients. This is the reason why I have put this slide. I have already mentioned about the future of MOOCs. I agree with Professor Saroj Mishra on this matter. There are a lot of websites coming out with this last topic, namely, be your own doctor. How to manage asthma on your own, how to manage diarrhea on your own. Basically, small tips and tricks. It doesn't go into extreme granularity of the topic, but then there is a scope for developing content in these lines. There are a number of authenticating agencies who are giving very good content for medical professionals. This is why this slide has been put up. There is even a distance education program in medical education offered by a few universities like this. Until recently, it was believed that medicine is a skill-based science, and there were arguments like, what can you teach online? But when you scan the net, you will see there are hundreds and hundreds of topics which are beginning to emerge depending upon the local requirements. This is one of the slides that depict it. Like, for example, an introduction to chest radiograph interpretation of ECG, etc. Even the World Health Organization has got some amount of e-learning courses that shows that the level to which e-learning is coming up to the level of professionalism. There is an academy by this name, free open access medication. It's an organization. I would suggest you could go through this website for more authentic information. It's a collaboration. It's a consortium approach to provide authentic medical information to anybody who seeks it at any level. There is a new concept in e-learning called rapid e-learning. Now, I have very deliberately brought this slide for this audience because it is generally believed that e-learning involves huge expenditure and things like that. But then rapid e-learning is a miniaturized version of e-learning, where it is a production process of creating e-learning content quickly and effectively without having to use overtly complicated software or programming techniques. I would like to end the discussion with this slide with the note that this doesn't mean that this should replace the sophisticated delivery mechanisms. No, but if you want to make a beginning, I think you should start with rapid e-learning. If the way I go about giving opinion on e-learning is I tell them, tell me what you have. I go to various institutions and I give guest lectures. I ask them, tell me what you have. I will tell you how to convert it into e-learning. If they say PowerPoint, I say more than enough. I'll tell you how to do it. So what I'm trying to say is, don't accuse your institution or your management telling this is not there, that is not there, particularly government institutions. It's always better to light a candle than curse the darkness. Thank you.